Good morning, friends. Welcome to day 2 of the Brave Week. And today's day 8. And today is about Mary, the mother of Jesus, and how she was visited supernaturally by an angel and told that she would be carrying the Son of God. And I think it's interesting that she didn't seem that surprised. Even though, I think I would probably jump out of my skin, if I had someone visit me like that. So it tells me that maybe things were not as unsupernatural there as maybe we think. It seems like maybe they had a climate that expected or understood the supernatural. I don't know. Maybe if we just wooed thinking of the word, I can't even think of the word. Anyway, if we expected the supernatural, maybe we would experience it more often. Or maybe we experience it more often than we think, and we put a label on it. I don't know. I just know that God is good and He's faithful and kind. And He's with us in the process. And that set Mary on a new trajectory. And she is a pivotal place in how life turned for her and her family, and what happened in their lives. And so now here we are, Christ in you, Christ in you, Christ in you, and what's applicable to you. So what can you do? How can you live? How can you live with this grand, wonderful, joyous understanding that you are empowered by the ones who live inside you? You are not pregnant with Jesus. No, Jesus lives inside of you. Jesus came and paid the price and did what He was going to do, because Mary was obedient on her end to see the whole process through. So God has a process for you and has a process for me. And I encourage you today to listen to the voice of the ones who live inside, and listen with a place of rest, and know that He has a plan. And you might feel confused. You may not know what the heck's going on. You may not understand how to proceed, but God can show you how to proceed. Every day we have a thought for the mind. We have words for our mouth to speak. And we have a movement of some sort to take in agreement with the Father loving us and living through us to show us that He loves us. To love yourself without limits is the intention of every day. Learning how to love yourself in a way that's viable and visible, that you will be changed, that you will be transfigured into more and more of this great love that lives inside of us, that sometimes we miss because we're so inundated with thoughts and ideas that we allow to live in us, instead of allowing the thoughts that already live inside of us, this mind of Christ, be in us in such a way that these other thoughts are automatically rejected, automatically said no to without even thought. That's where I want to be, where I don't even have to think about it. It's like, whoops, and then they don't even come. That's what I desire. So today, the mind thought today is, I'm determined not to lean into my own understanding, but to listen and lean into God. I encourage you to take that thought captive inside of you, and to not listen to your own understanding, but lean in and listen carefully. Lean in and listen with joy. Lean in and listen with expectation. Lean in and listen with expectancy. And let God set your pathway. Maybe He has a new pathway for you. Maybe you've been wanting one. Maybe you've been wanting a new start. Jesus is the one who can give it to you. He's the smartest person we know. And He lives inside of you, and He can help you on your journey to where you think you're going. And if you think you're supposed to be somewhere else, God can move you in that direction as well, because He knows how to get us where we are supposed to be. And He knows how to live through us right where we are, so that we don't miss a beat, because He is so kind. The mouth today, I want to say this with me. I trust the process God has in me to hear Him. Say, I trust the process God has me in to hear from Him and to pursue His purposes. I trust the process God has me in to hear from Him and to go through this process. I don't know what process you're in. I know I'm in a process. And sometimes I want to jump out of the boat. But then I think, well, I was swimming when I found the boat and got inside. So why would I return to the water that I was already treading in? So I'm staying in the boat, going to the other side. And I'm just trusting God any moment for me to really understand and gather within me that I'm already on the other side, that I've already gone through the other side, that I'm already in the process, already on the other side of the process. So I can have rest and peace as I'm pressing through and walking through this pathway. Does that make sense? The movement today is a divine assignment. And the divine assignment really is to get in some intentional time with God. And maybe you already have intentional time. If you don't, this is the day to begin. If you do, maybe increase it. Maybe pull back and maybe approach your time with God in a different way. But invite this supernatural place inside of you to be alive and connected with you. Alive and connected in such a way that you can really hear what's happening, hear what He's saying, know what's going on. And if your life is full of suspicion, if your thought process begins to think about other people in negative ways or putting doubt and unbelief in you, that's not the voice of God. Now, God can pull us in and cause us to rethink something. And if we get filled with doubt and unbelief, that's not on Him. That's because our immature response to change or our immature response to God, to something new. Don't necessarily shut something down because you feel confused. Don't necessarily say no to something just because it causes your soul to respond in a way that's immature. It can still be God. It can still be God. That's what it takes, listening close. So you feel the courage of walking through or in that situation. Because just because your soul is messed up doesn't mean God's not going to give you an assignment that's beyond your soul's capability. Because His Spirit is more than capable, and His Spirit does the impossible in the midst of your impossibilities. It can easily lead you over that river and through those woods and pull you out of that confusion and pull you out of that angst and remind you that you're set on a rock and that you can trust Him. You can trust Him. Anyway, I bless you today. Today is a short lesson. I encourage you to ponder the life of Mary and how she handled being confronted with an angel, how she handled what happened when she realized she's pregnant, and then Joseph finds out, and all the rigmarole that really truly happened in real life versus just a few scriptures we read. You know, there was a real life drama going on behind those words. Real people with real problems, with real life trauma and drama, and figuring out how to work it out. I mean, we religiousized Mary. We religiousized Jesus. We religioized Joseph. We religioized all these apostles, and they had real life with real relationships with real people. They had real confrontations. They had real disagreements. They had real agreements. They had real support. They had real lack of support. They had real need for finances, and they had a real abundance of finances. You name what they went through, we can understand if you really look and see, hey, these were real people. These aren't just words in a book. I encourage you to just reconsider the strength and the courage that it's really inside of you, that you already have to the table, to go past where you've been before and move into something new, move into something different, move into something that's from Him, and to not be afraid. Don't be afraid, my friend. God's got your back. He's got my back. Sometimes I go, oh, wow, God, I don't know about today. And the Lord like, oh, I'm here. You're in the way, meaning his way. I'm in the pathway. And you are too. I bless you today. I'll see you tomorrow morning with day 9. And if you don't already have a book, I encourage you to get one and follow along. And there are stories at the front end of each week to consider and to pause in and to hear God in, to sink deep in. And by the time you get to the end with me, it will be a transfiguring pathway. The whole, every day is very strongly laid out to the end of our time together, when that week is really strong, to really hear the voices of those that live inside of us, and to trust. And I bless you today. This is Donna. Till soon. Bye.